Hello, good evening. Amid escalating violence and a deepening humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, Israel continues its relentless offensive under Prime Minister Netanyahu's declared aim to place all of Gaza under Israeli security control. With limited aid trickling in after an 11-week blockade, the UN warns that supplies remain critically insufficient, with fears of looting and Israeli-imposed restrictions stalling distributions. France and Greece have condemned Israel's displacement plans as a dead end, while European pressure mounts alongside rare domestic dissent, including an opposition MP being forcibly removed for condemning the war. Against the backdrop of Trump's controversial proposal to resettle Palestinians abroad and growing global outrage, Gaza's lifeline hangs by a thread, with hospitals collapsing, the number of ambulances halved, and famine looming. The San Diego Union Tribune has reported that Gaza's humanitarian crisis spirals as Nasser Hospital in Qnews overflows with malnourished children, many suffering from severe hunger and chronic illness. Despite limited aid trucks recently entering Gaza under international pressure, deliveries remain a fraction of what's needed, hindered by Israeli military procedures and lawlessness on the ground. UN agencies warn that famine is no longer a prediction. It is already here, with thousands starving and hospitals overwhelmed beyond capacity. Families survive on watered-down formula, lentils stretched thin, and dwindling aid. Mothers describe a daily fight to feed their children, even as newborns enter a world without nourishment or hope, and global silence deepens the despair. Now, for more on this severe situation in Gaza, joining us from Cairo is Mr. Hani El-Gamel, who is a researcher in regional and international affairs. Welcome to Q News. Thanks for being here with us. So, with Netanyahu declaring the desire to have full Israeli control over Gaza and Trump reportedly still pushing for a controversial resettlement plan, how do these developments possibly reshape the future of Palestinian statehood?
Greetings to you and to the viewers. We are seeing a new dramatic scene in reshaping the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian state equally. What Netanyahu desires at the moment is to impose the control on 75% of the Gaza territory, which is a quantitative leap. To control these lands and annex it to Israeli territories, in addition to establishing different buffer zones and security zones through which Israel is trying to control the Palestinian mobility in this critical area, which is creating demographic change in the region and therefore pushing Palestinians from the north towards the south strongly, which is some kind of forcible displacement, which is in line with the plans announced by Trump during his election campaigns and then after he assumed office, to have the new Riviera in the Middle East and therefore evacuating the population to the neighboring countries or other countries from worldwide in exchange for economic deals. This is a new kind of stakes, not only for the status quo, but it's some kind of taking down all international treaties, including the Oslo Accords and the security agreements in 2005 and 2018, among others, meaning that this violation from Israel in this region with wide range military expansion have a cover from the United States, which will reshape the region and will create two crises. For the Palestinian side, first, relocating the population to only the south of the strip in 25% of the entire strip, which means that we are facing a complete humanitarian crisis, because this region is not qualified. Also a crisis to the Egyptian state, because 2 million people moving to the south of the Gaza Strip. This means that the borderline with Egypt is a human time bomb. And the Israeli insistence to not enter the humanitarian aid and not establish a new mechanism to distribute these humanitarian aids after 2 months of the hold will lead to an explosion and forcing Palestinians to move towards the south further. Maybe the recent Netanyahu statements regarding creating 4 safe zones to distribute aid, 3 regions in the south, and
Okay, well, let me ask you. We're going to come back to the situation on the ground in Gaza in just a moment. But powers like France and Greece have openly condemned Israel's displacement strategy. Do you think we might hear more voices like this from Europe, in stark contrast with the lines that are coming out of Washington? I believe we just lost Mr. Hani El Gamal for just a few moments. I'm going to try and see if he's back with us. Are you? We're just going to take a short break, and hopefully we'll have our guest with us in just a moment. Okay. Yeah. I'll just move on. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back to the program, and we thank Mr. Hani Al-Gamal for joining us earlier. Now, as Haaretz has reported, the Israeli opposition leader Yair Golan has defied political silence, boldly criticizing the Gaza war as strategically flawed and morally costly, a rare voice challenging Netanyahu's narrative. His uncompromising stance, labeled as political suicide, has instead elevated him as a symbol of courage and truth in a landscape starved of authentic leadership. While much of the opposition remains muted, Golan's words resonate across ideological lines, reflecting growing public disillusionment with the war's direction and its devastating humanitarian toll. His call for accountability strikes a chord among Israelis weary of empty rhetoric and endless conflict. In a time of deepening crisis, Golan's candor may mark a turning point, proving that speaking truth, even in the face of backlash, can redefine political relevance and awaken a desperate public's hope for real change. Now, to continue our analysis of the situation in Gaza, we are joined from Occupied Jerusalem by Ms. Ratiba al-Natsha, the Palestinian National Action Committee member. Welcome back to Q News. Thanks for being here with us. I just wanted to start by asking you about Yair Golan's words. He made a bold critique, accusing the government of killing babies as a pastime. What did you make of his words, and do you think there's growing internal challenge to Netanyahu's war narrative?
Actually, ministers in the Netanyahu government asked for running a court against Yair Golan because of his speech and using Israel that they are killing children in front of the world, and no one in the world wants to have any relation with Israel according to this mascara that they are doing in Gaza by killing young people. This is not the first time for Yair Golan to say that. He first said that, previously he said that the Israeli told the Israeli community that they are killing Hamas or fighting Hamas, but they are not killing them the truth by saying that they are killing thousands of young people or children and women and not targeting Hamas. And all of these actions make the relation between Israel and the United States unstable and
Now, with Nasser Hospital overwhelmed and ambulances reduced to just a third of their fleet, how on earth is the healthcare system surviving under the relentless bombardment and also this deliberate aid restriction? Sorry, I'm not sure if you heard the question, Ms. al-Natsha. With Nasser Hospital overwhelmed and the ambulances reduced to a third of their fleet, how on earth is the healthcare system surviving in these circumstances? Now we're happy to have Ms. Ratiba al-Nadsha back with us on the program. Netanyahu's new US-backed aid plan involves forced relocation and also these private distribution hubs. How is this going to work, and what does it mean for the people of Gaza?
I think this criteria will never succeed in Gaza for several reasons. First of all, because they want the people to transfer from their own places to specific places, which is less than 25% of Gaza, and they push the people to 2 million people to live in like less than 25% of Gaza Strip in the north, in the south of Gaza, sorry. So I think this will not succeed. And we witness when they try to transfer the people from the south, from the north to the south, previously, how the people were very located to their places and they didn't want to leave their places. The second reason is because the aid will have just 4 stations, and these 4 stations can serve like 1,200,000 people. And what about the 1 million Gazans that they will not receive any aid from these stations? Third of all, because you can't militarize the aid, and you can't make the people who kill the people aid them in the same time. And I think the fourth reason that this company is just for corruption and like money laundering, more than it's really for aiding Gaza. And we witnessed something like that in Iraq previously. And we know that these kinds of organizations, it's not a real aid organization, a humanitarian aid organization, and it's not functioning for doing this role. They will use the humanitarian aid and militarize it. So I think that even the international organization and the international community will not accept this way of spreading the aid for the people. I know that the people in Gaza is suffering. They are looking for a bit of bread in any price, but this way of aiding, it's not a real aid for the people, and it will put like a criteria for who will deserve the aid and will not. And I think it's very hard to see your neighbor criticize that he is not deserving to be aid, and you are eating in your home. It's really very disgusting to think about it even. I'm not sure that this kind of aid, if we can call it aid in any way, this way of spreading food and medical supplements will really succeed in Gaza. And I think that the meaning of this is just to shut up the countries that started to ask for accountable Israel on its massacre on the Gaza Strip. And what we witnessed, like in Deir el-Balah today, by killing the security men who tried to secure the aid, by killing even the people who are coming to take these aids, and by bombing the ambulances as well. It's like one simple model about what this aid means for the Israeli and not for the Gazian. And for the Gazian, it will mean that they are suffering to replace their life or to rest their life for this kind of humanitarian aid, if it's a humanitarian aid.
Oh, okay, and of course the UNRWA chief Lazzarini, he fears that Gaza may soon no longer be livable for Palestinians. Is Israel's goal all along, paving the way for extreme ethnic cleansing?
From day one, this was the goal for Israel, and it is the goal of Israel to empty as much people as possible from Gaza. Netanyahu said that he wants just 1 million Gazans, so that means that the other 1,200,000 people must be transferred or killed. And he said it very clearly. So yes, this is what Israel is trying to do by pushing the people to transfer from Gaza, by putting them in unlivable conditions, so they will got out from Gaza to survive their life. And if they think that this will succeed, they misunderstand the Gazan, and they didn't understand the way that the Palestinian people think.
Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on the program, as always. Ratiba El-Natsha, member of the Palestinian National Action Committee. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. And that brings us to the end of this special coverage. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates here on Qnews.